Captain Ibrahim Traore, Africa's youngest president yet, with the biggest achievements on the continent. Having risen to power through a military coup in September 2022, Ibrahim Traore has been a darling of the people of Burkina Faso and Africa at large, with young leaders around the continent drawing inspiration from his style of leadership that is putting Burkina Faso on the world map in terms of infrastructural development, the fight against corruption and freeing the country from Western imperialism. This video reveals a lot of information that is very crucial. Please be sure to watch the whole video to gain a deeper understanding of the situations unfolding in West Africa. Traore's rise to power did not come short of challenges. In less than 2 years of his leadership, he has survived 9 coup and assassination attempts. In this video, we reveal to you the top reasons why the Western world wants Ibrahim Traore dead. So let's dive in. But before we start, if you are new here, kindly support the channel by liking and sharing this video. Subscribe to the channel and comment telling us where you are watching from and what Africa can best do to free itself from imperialist occupation and control. Let's get started. To start off, West African countries have for long been the bloodstream for France's financial survival. Ibrahim Traore is determined to chock this stream, sending France and its allies to a desperate position. Following the Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, most of the West African countries were allotted to France. Between 1958 and 1961, France conditioned her 14 colonies to sign a pact if they wanted independence. Mali and Guinea said not to this pact, attempting to dismiss the French out of their countries. France responded by totally destroying the economies of these two countries, including horrible acts like pouring concrete in sewerage and drainage pipes. The newly appointed president of Ghana then, Kwame Nkrumah, in a bid to rescue the economies of Mali and Guinea, formed the first ever alliance of African countries. That was Ghana, Mali, and Guinea. The extent of damage to the economies of Mali and Guinea sent waves of shock and fear to other Francophone countries, who quickly agreed to sign the pact. But what did the pact stipulate? The pact stated all French colonies had to deposit 85% of their bank reserves with the French Central Bank, under the control of the French Minister for Finance. France would invest the deposits in the French stock market under the French name, and the African colonies were not obliged to know the returns. This has been going on in West Africa since 1958 to date, allowing France to collect up to $500 billion annually from Africa before investing in stock markets. After investing the money, for every $14 billion out of Africa, France reaps $300 billion. This means France yearly collects from African former colonies up to $10.8 trillion annually. The pact also stipulated that all Francophone countries will transact in the CFA currency, and that only France could print that currency for them. The pact also granted France the first right of refusal to all big public and private contracts within the Francophone countries. This first right of refusal also covered all the minerals already discovered, and yet to be discovered in these colonies, that France shall have first say on all minerals from these countries. Ibrahim Traore is reversing this pact. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger have already had a memorandum to abandon the CFA currency and to come up with a domestic West African currency. This means France will no longer milk from the 3 countries. Moreover, Ibrahim Traore is working day and night expanding the alliance. That recently saw Senegal's new youngest elected president becoming the 4th member to join the alliance of Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso. In August 2023, Ibrahim Traore, alongside his like-minded leaders in Niger and Mali, banned the export of uranium and non-processed gold to France and the USA. France has for long relied on the 3 countries to supply more than 35% of its uranium needs to power its nuclear plants. Earlier this year, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali announced their decision to exit the Economic Organization of West African Countries, ECOWAS. For long, France and her allies had relied on ECOWAS as a proxy force for continued neo-colonialism. The withdrawal from ECOWAS is a clear message that France is losing grip of the Sahel region. To completely break French dominance, Ibrahim Traore has turned to Russia, China, and Turkey. These countries are supplying cutting-edge technology weapons to Burkina Faso and providing specialized training. China has already supplied a number of tanks, armored personnel carriers, explosive and mountable machine guns. Turkey has supplied the Bayraktar 2 drones that are helping Burkina Faso in surveillance and intelligence gathering against Islamic jihadists. Russia is providing specialized training to the forces, specialized weapons and combat support through what the Russian foreign minister termed as instructors. These instructors are part of the Wagner Group that has been rebranded as Africa Corps, a hardened battle group. Combined military support from these countries has recently allowed Burkina Faso drive out militants from the gold-rich north of the country. The West is extremely concerned about totally losing control over the Sahel, as Ibrahim Traore's influence and model for liberalization keeps expanding from Burkina Faso to Mali, Niger, and lately ties between Burkina Faso and Senegal are strengthening. The West view Ibrahim Traore as a pace-setter that has given courage and desire for complete independence, not only to the people of Burkina Faso and other Francophone countries, but Africa at large. Ibrahim Traore is a real replica of his role model and predecessor Thomas Sankara with his model of leadership. Many young leaders around Africa are being inspired to rise above the puppet leaders, whom the West has been dealing with to rob Africa. The West is highly disturbed. If Ibrahim's burning fire is not put out, then they may never have a say in Africa again. For decades, the West has used poverty as a tool to control her former colonies. Ibrahim has turned the tables in favor of the local Burkinabe people, improving social services and infrastructure, and launching development projects that better the lives of the locals. These developments have had two impacts. One, the people now know that France has for long been keeping them in captivity and prepared to face the French and European powers for their liberty. And other Francophone countries now learn from Burkina Faso what they could turn their countries to, if only they can cut ties with France, and if all other former colonies did this. The French economy, which is already struggling with workers' actions, could totally crush. This explains the latest increased attempts on the life of Africa's darling leader, Ibrahim Traore. Fortunately, the people of Burkina Faso are not adamant and do everything within their means to protect the life of their savior. Recently, when shots were heard across the presidential palace in yet another attempt, the people took to the streets in support of their leader, who emerged and briefed the country with full confidence and zero fear. Thank you for watching. Remember to leave us a comment telling us where you're watching from and what advice you can give other African leaders of former French colonies. Till next time, God bless you. God bless Africa. United we stand, divided we fought.